Well, good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, and perhaps even good evening. Thank you so much for dropping by and joining me for an exciting, very spontaneous, totally unplanned. Have I even switched this over? Have I? Yes, perfect. For a totally unplanned, spontaneous session of 3D Shenanigans. Wonderful to see so many of you here on a busy Sunday morning. Miss Camilla is here. The Nancy is here. Mr. Charles Bond all the way from Twitch. Thank you for joining. Very cool. Mr. Brian is here, and there is Nico. I wonder what's happening for breakfast this morning. Waffles. This is amazing. You do waffles every day on the weekends. That's really cool. I'm very, very inspired by that. Ascania is here, and I have also seen the Grophili and also Nancy's art, and that is everyone I see in chat for now. Thank you so much for being here. So I thought, well, first of all, I think we're going to go start with a little bit of music. And also, I think my lights are dying. Yes, my lights are dying. I might change that up and just grab batteries. I was this close to getting some new ones, but then of course, I didn't do that. So they're waiting for us in the room next door. So I'll see if I can make that happen. Some ambient music this morning, I thought. Don't know if I can actually hear it. Can you hear it? I hear something. I don't know how loud that needs to be for any of us to hear anything. The ambient is good. If that doesn't work for us, we're going to do something else. I thought one of my favorite characters that I have that I've got for the older generation of Genesis figures is, of course, Lilith. And Lilith, I don't know if you know this, was, according to Wikipedia, is a female figure in Mesopotamian and Judaic mythology, alternatively the first wife of Adam in the Garden of Eden, and supposedly the primordial she-demon. Lilith is cited as having been banished from the Garden of Eden for not complying with and obeying Adam. She's mentioned in biblical Hebrew in the Book of Isaiah and the late antiquity in other things, and as far back as 500 CE onwards. So I imagine something like Adam says, "Hey Lilith, would you like to go camping?" And she says, "I'm okay, you go ahead, I'm going to stay here." And he goes, "Oh my God, you disobey me, you're banished." And a little bit, so much for free will. Kind of went a little bit off the rails there, but the DAZ character of Lilith has always kind of attracted me, and there were two versions that I remember. One was Lilith 6 and Lilith 7, and I think I have both of them. And I thought we can try to take Lilith 7, her here, and wrap her around, or wrap the new Genesis 9 figure around this character, and see if that in fact comes out, and see if all the expressions and all the poses and stuff work. So that is what I'm trying to do. So essentially, I'm going to attempt to create Lilith 9. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but hey, maybe we can make it happen. Let's see. Hey, Mr. Jeremy is here. How you doing? And also, if you're a fan of the Frasier TV series, his first wife, divorced ex-wife, was also called Lilith, and she kind of behaved like what we've just read there on Wikipedia. So thought that's kind of interesting. So let's start then by seeing if Lilith is actually installed here in figures, or perhaps not. Lilith. There we go. I've got 7. 6 not installed, 6 HD pack. I'm going to dispense with HD. I'm just going to use the SD version here. And I'm going to go with smooth shaded so that no one kicks us off YouTube. Horizon Dolls is here. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Good to see you. Let's see if we can make this happen. So this is Lilith, and we need to make a few changes on her before we export her out. So one thing is, of course, that we want to probably turn her into the A pose, just so that that matches the target figure when we go into R3DS Wrap, the Russian 3D scanner. And then the other thing that I might do right now, so this being a Genesis 3 figure, we don't have separate eyelashes. So the eyelashes here, they're attached, and they're not something I can just detach. So it's one of the big benefits on the Genesis 8 and also now on the 9 figure, that all these things have been separated out. So it makes it really easy to remove them. So if I were to wrap, use this as a source wrap, then the lashes would cause serious issues. So let me go and just remove them with the geometry editor here. I think we have a surface for that, so I can just go and select them with eyelashes. There we go. Let's do that. That's eyelashes. And then we go right click and go geometry editing, delete selected polygons. And that'll remove 252 polygons. Let's go do this. Takes a moment. It's gonna happen. Seb, how you doing? Good to see you. My goodness, what a turnout. This is something I have half decided on yesterday evening. And I thought maybe I'll go and do this. There we go. That's no more eyelashes for Lilith. So now let's do the pole. So I'll go and bring in the Genesis 9 base figure and just match up. It doesn't have to be super detailed there, but just, and we need to export them out as well. So we'll go and make that happen and just approximate the Lilith shape. Oh, I see. So Lilith is a little bit larger as well, a little bit taller than the base figure. So I don't know how this is going to work with the eyes and the mouth, I got to tell you. So I wonder if we should make Lilith a little smaller then to match that figure. Just like maybe this is a better job for El Slider here with a proportional scale slider. Lilith is already at 99%. That's cool. That's interesting. So this would have been the 100% scale. That is a bit taller, isn't it, than the previous generations. Okay, so let's go and make that a bit smaller, like here, so that just roughly the head matches up here, maybe at 94.5. Let's say, let's call that good. Everything else I'll leave in place, and I'll just go and grab her arm. That is probably is that the right shoulder bend? Is that correct? Bend, there's also the collarbone. Yeah, let's try the bend. See if that works. And that's that. Kind of to about here, roughly. Righty, is that correct? Let's call that 45. Because then I can mimic that on the other side, like here. I can just call that minus 45. Yes, perfect. Do we want to worry about the feet or the legs, or are we okay with that? Let's leave that as it is, I'm thinking. Hey Meg, Antonio, how's it going? Good to see you all, my friends. So there we go. That is that. So we can now go ahead and export both Genesis 9 and Lilith out, and then see what R3DS Wrap makes of it, and see what happens when we bring this in, see if everything still works. I'm kind of excited about that. I can't really hear music, I gotta say. I don't know if you hear music. I can't hear it. It could just be because it's too quiet, or because nothing's playing. That's also possible. Let's go and bring up some other music. Let's bring up my favorite dreamy beats. I really like listening to. I think the kids call it lo-fi, because I still don't hear anything. What the? Why? Because it's on the wrong audio output source. There. I did the music a grave injustice because it was just on the wrong output source. There we go. Subnautica music. We could do that. That would freak us out halfway through though. So now we could possibly go back to the ambient a little bit later. We'll see if we want to do that. Let's go export these figures out. So Genesis 9 first. I'm not going to use the HD version. I'm just going to use the base res just to see if it works in principle. So this is base res, and we need to do the same thing on Lilith. So Lilith is also going to be base res. There we go. Let's go export Genesis 9 out first. And keep in mind, this is all something that I think may work. I can't guarantee that it actually will work. Lilith 9, perhaps. Let's call it Lilith 9, perhaps. That's a good name for the folder. Lilith 9, perhaps. And should we put an OBJs folder in here? Yeah, because this might get cluttered a little later. So this is G9 base, and we'll use this one here. Select filter objects and no maps. We're good with that. That should give us just the Genesis figure. Now I'll do the same with the Lilith figure. Lilith 7 base. In the A pose, just a little descriptive there. Filter, this means that whatever I've got selected will be exported and nothing else, including attached things. Let's see. The soundtrack is so relaxing. Okay. It's true, it's true. I have Subnautica. That one, I can recommend you another good one that we can listen to. It's the one from Monsters Expedition. That is a really, really nice soundtrack as well. Eli Rainsbury, she makes really nice soundtracks for video games, and that is also a really nice soundtrack. It's only about 30 minutes long, but it is so relaxing. It's a mixture of kind of ambient stuff. The Subnautica soundtrack is also great, but it's a bit there's really frightening bits in there. Brian, you have to help me out and talk me through this. I may have forgotten half of how this works. See if we can remember. When was the last time you've used R3DS Wrap? Start with a load node, a couple actually, load geometry. In fact, a couple, yeah, 2 of them. So this is going to be our target and this is going to be our source. So let's go and bring that in. This is going to be the Genesis 9 figure here. Let's see if it works. I think the scale was a little kind of, you know, let's make that 0.1. There we go. That's much better, isn't it? Haha. Okay, that is Genesis 9. We'll leave her in place. Hey Neville, how's it going? It's been some time, right? Yeah, for me too. I have, do you know what? I've tried, when I had access to the Genesis 9 figure, the first thing I tried was to use Mrs. Chow on it, and I tried to bring Mrs. Chow in HD over, and that worked really well. So at that point I could remember it. This is G9, and then this here is going to be Lilith. Neville, how are you this morning? This fine evening, I should say. Yeah, she's also ever so slightly large. There, perfect. And just to differentiate, we're going to make her, well, one of them a little different color. Maybe we're going to go make Genesis a different color. Let's turn you purple here. There, so we know which one's which. Okay, they're pretty much in the same position. Let's go and see if we can line them up. We don't have to separate things out anymore, so that makes it a lot easier. We can literally go essentially straight to the wrapping or the fast wrapping. Let's just use regular wrapping. And the point selection then, I'm thinking. So this goes in here. This here is the fixed geometry, that is that. And then all we now need is the, not the polygon select, but this one, the point correspondences. So that is, where do we find that? I think so, yes, Brian, I can do that. I can just bring it in 10 times larger, and then that'll fit. Yes, that should work. What was that node called again? I've forgotten now. What is the something about points? Something about points. Select point pairs. I think this is it. So that's probably, maybe that isn't it. Select point pairs, that's the one. Select point pairs. And that'll be from here and from here, I think. And then that'll go in here to help the wrapping node. And all we need to do now is go and select them points. And both characters are symmetric, so I can just use the X on both symmetries. Is that right? We also want to sync the views, and yes, we're good. We're good. I'm pleased I remember all this. Now comes the tough part, figuring out what we need. So I think we can probably do it without the points. But it may, because they're so lined up, it may actually work. It's just that we probably want some features to be in places that may not work. Actually, let's go try that. Let me go remove that and just use the wrapping as it is and see how that works, because it does work. It might just not be fantastic. Give the computer a little bit of time to work things out. Be good to just, you know, not even have having to put any points on it. That'd be good. Antonio, no, R3DS Wrap is a standalone application from a website called Russian 3D Scanner, and it's something rather magical. It can take two meshes and it wraps one mesh around the other, and this is often used in things where you have a high-res body scan that has a messy and very dense topology, and you have a clean kind of base mesh that you want to look like that mesh. And at that point, you go and you go hide that. There we go. This is what came out. So now we have Lilith with clean topology, and she looks all right. I like it. I see the fingers. So yeah, this is what that's for. It's a software that lets you wrap one mesh with a different topology around a different one with a different topology. I think what's happening on the shoulders here, is that groovy? It's a little knobbly, but maybe that's what Lilith looked like. I don't remember. We can smooth that out. We can smooth that out. That should work. I don't recall these knobbles here. But ears and fingers, those types of things are often cause for concern, but looks like we're almost okay here. I think points might improve this here. And also a higher density mesh, that'll also do it. So we only have the base right now, but if I were to use like a subdivided version of Genesis, then that would work as well. I think eyes, I don't know, the eye sockets, I think they've fallen in a little bit too much, so I'm going to go and put points in there so that doesn't doesn't fall out. But other than that, I think it's already done a good job. So sometimes it'll miss fingers, but because they were so very closely lined up, I think it's worked out okay without points. That's sweet. Yeah, and then at the end we're going to do a smoothing brush path, and then we might be okay. Let's see if we can improve this with points. So I don't think I need to do anything on the fingers, just the ears and the eyes, like the fiddly bits. I'm going to see if I can improve that. Let's see. Right? Not with no points. I'm thinking that as well. Sebastian, good to see you, buddy. Well, let's try that out. So I thought that was under select. Whoops. Just type select point pairs. This goes in here. This goes in here. And we're syncing the views. We're using a little bit of geometry here and there. I'm sorry, geometry. What's it called? Symmetry. Let's do the ears first. So maybe just here the outside of the ears. 1, 2, 3. That should also have happened there, indeed. And then we're going to try that kind of here. And so then maybe I'll just help it out with this inner ear bit here. That corresponds to this. See how that works. Oh yeah, so this one went wrong. Here we got one that went wrong. This one here, that's supposed to be on the ear. I think the inner ear thing worked okay, but number 3, that did not go so well. How do I do this? Do I just click and drag? Yes, I do. That is how that works, isn't it? Click and drag. Yes, perfect. I think control click was going to remove them. Has that screwed up the other side now? It has, hasn't it? No, the other side's still good. Okay, fine. Okay. Oh, I see. So this, the Genesis 9 figure has the eye sockets still. I wonder if we should exclude them here. These are the eye sockets. Are they getting in the way? Those could still get mangled. I wonder if we should just remove them. Dorel, how you doing? Have you tried it out? I'm glad you have, because it really is cool. It does so much cool stuff. Also, the eye sockets. I hadn't thought of the eye sockets. It's something that may bite us later on. So I'm inclined to exclude these in the wrapping process. So that we're going to go and restore them back. So maybe we would need to use that lattice node after all. This I'm not worried about. These are her real eyes here. And on previous figure generations, when you have all this inside the head, or rather once you morph it, this can get distorted. And I think we may have the same issue with the eye sockets here. But I will leave them for now. This is good to know for next time. Let's do eyes here. I'm thinking those are good points. Subnautica. We should listen to the Subnautica soundtrack. I like it. I like it. Simon Chilinsky's version. Whoop, hello. Where's that gone? Where's number 13 gone? We have 11, 9. Looks like we've missed one here. Where did that go? Or not go? Abort! Abort! Is symmetry getting in my way here? No, that's okay, isn't it? So 8, 9, 10. Yeah, maybe I just got confused here. And then this is that, and this is that. Okay, maybe I just got confused. Okay, fine. This is here. That's here. This is here. And then one at the bottom here. Yeah, okay, good. I got confused. So good, so good. Nose and all that has actually worked pretty well. I wasn't looking at the mouth. The knobbly shoulders have actually come out correctly. So Lilith does have knobbly shoulders. So that's just what Lilith looks like. And everything else was okay, wasn't it? Let's see if we can wrap this and then see what that magic comes out with. That should be connected now to this. And we want to go and say compute. All right. A wrap based on an image file. I'm not sure what you mean, Nico. You can, I mean, the OBJ is an image file. Oh, no, I see what you mean. Like give it like a picture and then create a 3D mesh from that. No, I don't think R3DS Wrap has that. But it has exciting things that you can give. You can do this wrapping operation once and then give, so say you had a head scan of somebody like a real person and you clean topology and you wrap that once and then you have several expressions of that person, of the same person with the head scan. You can then go and tell the program, hey, these are expressions, bring them in. So that somehow works. But I've not tried that myself. So again, it's one of those things I'd love to try that in the future at one point. Well, Lilith's ears, that's just what they look like, don't they? And I'll smooth that out a little bit in a moment. Oh, we have some eye socket issues here as well. They're not quite round, but that's also okay. I think I can smooth that out as well and just restore that. With the brush. I'm interested to see what happened to the eye sockets. Yeah, they're mangled as well. So I can go and restore those with the brush as well. I'm going to try that. Ears, they are also a little mangled, so I'm going to go and restore that with the brush. But base shape, we're good here. We're good here. I think we're on our way to success here. It's just an in principle test here. So then we don't need that lattice node now on the output. We can just go ahead and go straight to the sculpting brush, I think. Sculpting brush, where's that now? Was it not called the sculpting brush? Brian, do you remember that? Right, for fashion scanned bodies, yes, of course. I think, Durrell, it's happening because there's just that difference in... Oh, it's because am I misspelling it? I think it's because there's just that discrepancy in the resolution. I think if I had a high resolution version of Genesis that I'd wrap, then I'd probably get better details there. But I just want to do base rest for now, so we'll see what happens. Isn't it called the sculpt brush? I guess it isn't. Was it geometry then? Geometry, subset replace, fix symmetry. Maybe it's apply subset? No, blend shapes. Is it just a brush? Is that the one? Brush is what it's called. Oh, the eye sockets you mean? Yes, good point. Yes, the eye sockets, they get deformed because there was nothing to wrap them around. You know what I mean? They're basically flapping on their own, and that means there's just nothing to hold them in place. So I could have removed them before the wrapping process and then added them back in with the lattice node. That's possible. Or if there was something that would hold them in place. So traditionally all these things would cause problems like mouth bags and stuff. Geometry, I suppose that's the one we want to mess with. Then we have the reference geometry. That's just for visual. I'm not going to use that. The geometry source is in fact the original Genesis 9 figure here, like so. And then this here is the vertex mask. We don't currently need that. In the hidden polygons, we don't need that either. So go in here. And here is our figure. So I can use relax and move and inflate and all these regular things, but I can also use clone. And I think that's my favorite brush that I'm going to use to restore some of these things that got mangled, like the ears. So if I go and I think that is how that works. If I go and brush over that, I'm restoring the features of the original topology. So anything that got a little bit too mangled, we're just going to smooth that out that way, including things like on the inside of the ear, and hopefully our eye sockets there in a second. There, we got smooth ears. Don't you just love it when things work? Hectix, how you doing? Good to see you, buddy. Hectix is one of the people who, Hectix and Brian were one of the two people who kind of got me onto using this software, R3DS Wrap. There, let's just go restore those eye sockets here. There's also a way, maybe I can show you that in a second. There's also a way to actually hide parts of the geometry so that I can look inside this better. So I'm kind of inside the head now and it's working okay. But there are more elegant ways to do this with the wrapping node, and it would just mean that you're creating a selection of stuff you want to completely hide, and then you plug that into the brush node, and then it just, it just disappears. I think I'm okay here. I think I'm okay. This doesn't have to be super exact because the eyes are going to be here. This is just in the figure. The eye sockets are there in the figure so that you don't see a gap between where the eye is inside the head. And it's also good line-up point. So if your figure, I think, had a different size, then it'll be a nice way to know where these things, where the eyes need to be placed. Like now that they're separated in the Genesis 9 figure, you can move them anywhere you like, and they'll should still work. I think that's how it works. So that is smoothed out. I'll do the same with the mouth here. Nose, we didn't really look at the nose, but it looks pretty cool. Yeah, mouth. You know what? I actually, on second thought, when I wrapped her, I should have opened both figures' mouth up so that I could put points on the lips. I did not do that, so that was my oversight. I should have really done that. I should have done that. So we're going to go and try to restore that just in case that got mangled and deformed. Yeah, I should have really done that. It's new to me too, you know. Max, wonderful to see you, buddy. Thank you for being a channel member for such a long time. I appreciate that. 13 months. That is over a year. Doesn't time fly when you're having fun? Crazy, isn't it? Isn't that amazing? So I think there's one other thing we can try to do. Use the geodesic distance here on the lips. Yeah, this is probably, I could do a better job at the mouth next time. Yeah, see the lips are kind of collapsing in on one another. Had I opened the mouths before wrapping, this wouldn't have happened. And this would have allowed me to set better points there. So I need to do that again. Is there a way to fix that here somehow? Yeah, I don't think there is. I don't think there is. Relax brush maybe. Yeah. Just for now. Oops. I don't want to destroy it completely, just make that a little bit nicer here. Yeah, so this is gonna, let's ignore the mouth. This is as good as it gets for now, but it'll be, I would certainly make that better next time. Anything else? Oh yeah, here the shoulders, they're a little bumpy here. Even though that was what Lilith looked like. I find it's a bit too bumpy, so just smooth that out a tad. I think we also had like bumpy bits on here. And in fact the back. And like overall here, there's all kind of bumpy stuffs going on. But that'll also go away with the smoothing modifier, I think, or with the subdivision surface modifier. I think that'll make things look a little better when we come to that. Or that's what I'm hoping. Yeah, let's leave the feet as they are and then see what happens when we bring this into DAZ Studio, and then we'll see what how this actually works, because it's kind of my first time doing it for real, and I thought it's kind of cool to do this together with you. Hey, Mr. Chris, how's it going? Oh, Max fixes their mouth in Blender. That's also a possibility, of course. Good idea. Let's do accept, and then that locks everything that I've done in here. And now we need another load save node, which is save geometry. And I'll call her maybe in a folder called From Wrap. I'll just call that Lilith 9 V1 base, in case we have other Liliths later as OBJ, and say compute current frame. Right? I think that's it. She is now 10 times smaller than what we need here. Switch off Lilith, switch on Genesis, and see if this works. Oh my, this is the exciting part. Let's try it out. Object Morph Loader Pro. First time I'm doing this. This is cool. I like it. Choose Morph. From Wrap. Lilith 9, come on. Fingers closed. Oh yeah, then the only thing is I think it'll have to be 10 times larger for this to work. And all that can stay in place, I think. Created morph successfully, so that is good. That is good. It's under morphs. Lilith 9 base V1 and it's Lilith. Unmistakably. If she's 100% functional, we'll work on that in a second. Let's make her 0 to 100. Lilith 9! Meet Lilith 9! So what happens when we go switch on the high resolution? Do some of the bumps go away? Oops. They certainly look a little better. Yeah, so I can see that it'll look really good with the higher resolution pass, I think. And also if we just smooth out some of these bumps here, that's gonna look nice too. And then we'll see if the placement of things like the belly button is correct, because I think we have HD morphs for that now. Yeah, do the HD pass later, and then, you know, that'll be exciting. But for now, we probably need to also do this. Adjust rigging to shape, that sort of thing. I think. Adjust rigging to shape, even though there might not be a massive difference. I'm sure there is a small difference. Like here on the collarbone, we can see that. Oops, did I do that correctly? I always forget to tick this box here. Adjust orientation. Let's do that. Well, okay. I have a feeling, that might just be me, but I have a feeling these bones, they may need to be a little bit higher here. I don't know. Don't know yet. Don't know yet. Let's do ERC freezing. That is the next thing we need to do. On the morph slider, ERC freeze. Real people are a little bit lumpy, yes. Hello Lilith, indeed. Okay. Yeah, it's interesting. I think it kind of works. It's only on when things are like in our case, I don't think the orientation mattered all that much, but sometimes you see something coming in and the bones kind of poke out and stuff, and this is where orientation, I think, does a good job kind of bringing them in line. Like if these things had poked out like this way, you know, that sometimes happens. Let's see. So edit mode off. This does that. Let's try some of these things, like opening her mouth and moving her eyes. Well, actually, she doesn't have eyes, does she? We need to bring those in. Let's go make that happen. Eyes, good point. Anatomy. Let's give you some eyes, Lilith. Eyes, check. She's got eyes now. Good stuff. And then she also needs a mouth. Doesn't have a mouth right yet, so mouth. Okay, that pokes through a little bit, so we might have to move these things out. We can give her eyelashes and tear ducts. There we go. Yeah, let's see what the eye adjustment and the mouth adjustment has to offer. Yes. And I'm imagining these things, you just use the regular transform tools for that, right? I'm thinking. I'd imagine. So I suppose we just need, the manipulator's all the way on the bottom here. Yeah, that's okay, fine. Even though that looks interesting, I think that needs to be kind of... So, oh no, we can't move that. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Why not? Would we then have to... Oh, that's interesting. So we can't move the mouth. Hang on, let's not be too hasty. We can work this out. Auto follow transforms was the way to go. So I'll just make it minus 0.5 for now, and we'll see how that fares. And I think maybe the eyes would be the same thing. So eyes by default, can't move them. But then if you head over into MISC, then you change this here from redirect transforms to auto follow transforms, I think. Oh, we'll do that. Hectics, let's do that. I'm glad you're all paying attention. I like that. This is also Z translate. I think they're just... This would be creepy. I think 0 almost worked okay. I just find that maybe they're a little bit too far back. So I feel like I want to move them. There's also the tear duct here. That's... Maybe they're actually okay. I can't tell. Nudge value on this slider could be a little less. Yeah, we don't want to do that. We want to do this, right? Kind of like this. Let's see. That's that. So let's call that minus 0.3 for adjustment. And then Mike says, let's have a look at the hands. Let's do that. That's the eyes. The eyes have a full rig, of course. I like that. Oh yeah, what's the big bone poking out there? Good point, Mike. What is that? What might that be? I don't even know what that is. This is the left-hand anchor. Ah. I gotta be honest, I don't know what that is. Could that be something similar? I'm just guessing here. This could be a new thing. I don't think I've seen this in the previous generations. Anchor, that could be something like a target that allows you to bind that to something like a steering wheel so that the hands stay in place. It could be. It could. I don't know. This is the first I'm seeing here. So, anchors. They didn't exist in previous generations, did they? So many exciting things we're going to find out over time with this new figure. So far, then, let's try a few poses on my girl. I'll use some of the Genesis 8 base poses here. In fact, let's just try all of them. I'll have to go, and I don't know if this is going to change in the final version of Man Friday's pose converter. I'm going to have to, they currently don't work from the smart content in the products tab. They will work in the files tab, I believe, but not from the products tab. So the other way they're going to work is if you show them in the mapped folder in the content library, like here. Hello. Base poses. Where are you? There we go. From here they'll work. So Control-Alt-P will apply these things on the figure. So that certainly works without major distortions here. You know, we don't see alien arms and stuff. There's the odd adjustment that needs to be done because we have a different shape, of course. Like, you know, hands digging in and stuff. That's just because of it's a different figure shape. Any alien artifacts? Deviant! How is it going, buddy? And then, of course, this is also going to work with the 50 advanced seated poses. Oh my god, wow. That is, I didn't even know we had poses like that. Good stuff in the base pack. One of my favorite pose packs is by Those Things. He has done a pack of 50 seated poses for Genesis 8. They're really, really nice. And if these work here, then they will also work. It certainly works in principle. I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm excited. Yes, absolutely. Man Friday's product, and also Riversoft has a Bone Minion in the works, so that's also coming. That's also good to know. So G8 poses will work. I don't know if it goes all the way back to the G3 poses. That might be something that I might tell him about this. I might tell Man Friday about this, because it's just that one extra slider that we have there, thanks to the Agent Unawares, who's made that pose converter for G3 to G8. Maybe that functionality can be integrated into that, into Man Friday's pose converter. Don't know. I'll ask him. I'll ask him. So how about expressions then? Let's have a look at that. Actually, let's give her something to wear and put a skin texture on her, and then we'll see how that goes. So I do have a couple of G9 clothing items, including the one that Fugazi and I made. Let's see if we can find that. Let's see. I'm not promising anything. I don't know if I can find anything anywhere. This is probably not it. It could be this one here. Carol outfit with the DAZ logo. Let's try that. That works with auto fit. So I'd have to go back and make this Lilith fit morph in Marvelous Designer. I can do that. I can probably bring that in. For now, I think it'll be okay. Or we can try the other outfit as well, the summer bikini. Let's try that. See how that behaves. Summer bikini for G9. This one here. See if that works. Or how that fits. That fits better, and we see more of the skin, so let's use that. Yeah, a little poke through here. Those are the things you just, you know, it's easy to adjust. Okay, so skin then. And also details on the eyes and all that. Materials. So these are the 4 that we have on offer that come with the Genesis 9 base figure. Really, really cool. Might be right. I'll ask him. I'll ask him. Maybe he can go and just integrate that into his product. That'd be really cool. Aha. The eyes. Forgive the eyes. The eyes need a separate material. But we're getting there, right? Sweet! And this is another option, another skin option. See, I love it that you have all these different complexions out of the box without having to find your favorite characters. They're just there, you know. That's just cool. And belly button we'll have a look at, but let's go with white for now. Caucasian, as they call it. Let's see if we can fix the eyes here. Are they split somehow? Eyes, there we go. Good stuff. Eyes. Okay, eyes, different eye colors. What color eyes do you think Lilith would have had back in the day? A good question. I will have a look. I will have a look. Let's go with brown here. Yeah, let's have a look. I'll go put the eyelashes on. Oh, and then the mouth. Mouth also needs material. We'll go and open her mouth in a moment and see if the placement of the mouth is actually correct. That should be that. And then the eyelashes are... And we can also have these things here. The bump map extra micro detail that is overlaid on top of a texture. That is so cool that this comes with the new base figure for free. I mean, these things, if you've ever looked at adding those types of maps, if you wanted to make your own characters, if you've looked at things like texturing XYZ, these things are super expensive. It's really generous that they're giving us that for free with the base figure. And the idea is that if you make characters, you don't have to go and spend so much time on adding your skin detail in and have that basically duplicated so many times. So they've done it for you, and you can just use that on your characters. You can reference these things, I believe. I think that was the plan. Don't quote me on that. Tear duct also needs to come back and have material. So eyelashes then, first of all. I think there's styles here. Cartoony, curly. Let's go with curly. Or dense. Different styles. Look at that. Messy. Also a nice style. Natural. Different style of eyelashes. Crazy stuff, huh? If in hell, might as well be naked. Good point, Camilla. Yes. Right? I thought so too, Durrell. I thought so too. I thought it was a great idea. Funny that this is like what we did on the skin safe textures, stream safe textures product. It's exactly that idea that you think, hey, if you just want to have a little visualization of a different skin complexion, that's what that's really good for. So I think that's all. Let's see if we can. What happens if we open her mouth, and then we'll have a look at shaders in a moment, Mike. So that'll be under pose controls. I don't really know where. Mouth close. How about mouth? Is the mouth open? Mouth. Oh no, we don't do that. It's with the morph anymore. I think we go with the jaw, and we'll just open the jaw. Is that what we do? Do we open things? Jaw open. There we go. It's jaw open. It is a. Aha. I still can't tell if the teeth are in the right place. They might not be. I think they might be a little bit too low. I think teeth may have to come up a little bit. Let's play dentist. Not just doctor, we're going to play dentist. Yeah, they're a bit sunken in, aren't they? Okay, let's go and move them up. This was the Z translate. Whoops. Did I change the nudge value of that slider? I thought I did. And then we'll go and use Y translate, preemptively just making that a little less. Like there we go, yes. That is very cool. That would be creepy. Let's not do that. They might also not be the right size for her. They might be a little too large and shift it over to the right of it. I'm inclined to scale that down, the whole mouth. I wonder, there might even be like an automation script that does this. Oh yeah, it scales it from the center point, which is like at the very bottom there. Sorry for messing with your teeth, Lilith. We just want to make sure they're in the right place, you know. Yeah, maybe that's still need a bit less there. Let's try 90, 98, but like 96. Let's try 96%. We don't all have the same... No, she doesn't have teeth. That's just crazy. Crazy. Let's move those up again. Yeah, I think that suits her better. We may have to go and put those... Whoops. Hours of fun, I'm telling you. Hours of fun. We don't want you to bite yourself. That looks better, doesn't it? Okay, so now if we were to go and give you some expressions, how will that work? I'm already excited. There is an updated beta version which has the new LIE editor, I believe, for the makeup. That's something that's been overhauled. I think the beta version is similar to the one that I'm using. I think I'm maybe a little ahead here. Let me see. Under this is a kind of a beta that is available for download. 4.21.85. This is kind of the publishing build, but I think the beta is at the same point at this time. I don't know where that LIE editor is. It's something that I have not yet figured out. But you know, as soon as I find out, I'll let you know for sure. Let's go and head over to head expressions. Lilith is getting angry, and we can see her teeth. That's cool. And they're not poking through anything. That is also good. I like it. Lilith is concentrating. Lilith is full of contempt, of course. Lilith likes to glare at people. Lilith is irritated. So the mouth is something that I need to fix because that didn't come out well in the wrapping. So I suppose that is why the mouth expression isn't working great. So that was entirely my fault. So we'll try to make that better on Lilith V2. Because all these work extremely well on Victoria 9, and of course the team have taken great care of making her look good. But of course, Lilith, that's just something I threw together in half an hour. So with the limited knowledge that I have, so that is why the mouth can do with improvements here. But in principle, it works, and we've done this in just about an hour, so I'm very, very pleased about this. Let's see what she looks like as an iRay render then. We'll see if I can have the... Oh yeah, you wanted to have a look at the shader, didn't you, Mike? Let's have a look. So under surfaces, if I just go to body here. I think it's kind of an iRay Uber shader, or a variation thereof. It looks like that to me. Detail, oh, detail enable. Interesting. Oh, this might be the detail. That might be a channel for the additional maps here. Let me just see if I can find those here. Genesis base details matte. Let's add those. I wonder if that is that channel that gets enabled then. It is indeed. Look at that. That is exactly how they do that. So this is that detail normal map here. That is how you do that. That's where that gets enabled. Okay. I didn't know that either. There we go. Right, indeed. Nice. I like it. Micronormal maps, very, very cool. But yeah, micronormals are, I think they're literally just the normal map. Yes. Let's see what she comes out as in iRay. Maybe I have a funky light set here that I can use. I think I had something I'd like to call Jay's Killer Lights. They work quite well. But of course, you know, can I remember where they are? Jay's Killer Lights V2, yes. Yes, that. Is that it? And it had the light helper there. Yes, it does. It has done that. And this here, that's the other version. And I think that was pretty much it. Does this work? There, yes. There's just 4 lights pointing at a light helper object. Where this one can probably go a little bit higher, like so. And we'll give her slightly better perspective here. Like so, like 120 is probably a little easier on the eye. And we should give her some hair as well. We'll do that in a second. Let's see. You'll have a horizon, the things like that, like belly button, nipples, those sort of things, they are all HD morphs now. So there's a ton of them that come with the character essentials pack, but to sculpt them in, if you wanted to make these things yourself, you would have to do it at a HD level. So the topology is like so universal, essentially, that that's where these HD morphs will really come out to shine. That doesn't look great, does it? To be honest, could well be because of the. Let's use a background that's a bit friendlier. Could also be the skin, and also we're just seeing that in the iRay preview here. So let me go and actually make that. Just render that out. Also give her some hair. I think with hair she's gonna just look that much better. I think. Like Voss. Voss is nice. Since it fits a girl, let's use Voss hair. Voss hair for Genesis 9. Aprillish. Love Aprillish hair. Give that some styling. Like it's up. That hadn't quite done that. Like fly around like the buds. Also select the hair, right? And then apply. That makes it so much easier. Maybe with I think she probably looks okay in brunette, doesn't she? Okay, let's see if we go and look at that close up. 1000 is probably good. And make that 3000 by 3000. Okay, boom. There's so many sliders I haven't played around with, so it'll be good to explore all that. Here she is. Here she is. Yes, I'll show you that in a second. The wired preview. Yes, I'll do that. I'm interested to see how these different skins come out. And also how the micronormals affect that. Let's let this render like for 1000 iterations at least at this resolution. That's gonna be fairly groovy. That gives us a relatively good impression of what the base skins look like. And we'll try them all out. So I'll use this one was the first one, but we have 3 others that I'd like to see what they look like, especially with the with the detail. Now, for the fact that we threw this character together in literally an hour. That's not bad, I have to say. I'm excited. I'm interested to see how I can improve the mouth by just exporting both figures with the mouth open so that I can set points so that the lips can be acknowledged properly. It's going to be nice. It's going to be nice. Ainsley, good question. DAZ PAs can do that. So there is an extension to the morph loader tool that we can all use. It's called the HD morph loader tool, and it works with a serial number, so you have to be approved. Even if you're a DAZ vendor, you have to put in a separate request to get approved for that. And if you are, you have to sign an additional NDA that where you assure that you only use these HD morphs if you sell products on the DAZ store, and then they give it to you, and then you can do it. So the way that works is that you literally export a character at a subdivided level, let's say 2. Then you do your sculpting in the application that you want, or in R3DS Wrap, you can do a HD wrap with that, or you can use Blender to sculpt on that HD thing, and then when you bring the morph back in, you tell morph loader this was a subdivided mesh and the level of subdivision resolution. And when you do that, morph loader goes and reverse calculates the geometry out of that, and that's how that works. So yes, that's how PAs are able to make HD morphs like that. But you have to be a DAZ PA to do that in order to get access to that tool. And if you do have it and you want to make products with it, they need to be sold on the DAZ store. That is that's important to remember. But yes, it is possible to do that, and that is how that works. That red might be a little bit strong here. I might take that down for the next render. I don't know how well this comes out on the stream, but I can certainly see micro detail in the skin. And remember, this is the base skin. This is not like a special skin you have to buy. This is what comes with the figure. That is quite cool. Let's save it, and let's also go and have a look at the other skins. Let's put that into my Lilith 9. And I'll put those up on my ArtStation and DAZ galleries later as well. Once we're done here, let's call that renders, and let's call that here Lilith 9 V1 Skin 1 as PNG. Check it out. I might render some with more iterations if that makes a difference. Let's take care of the color of the bikini here. I think it's just the color value. I don't really know. Base color. Oh, I see. It is actually texture. Let's see what the other colors are that we have here. We could just go ahead and make new things in Substance Painter with that if we wanted. Lavender. Is lavender good? Lavender seashell is a little off-white. Then we have white. We have taupe. Anything jumping out at you? Maybe we'll get to that when we look at the new skin shader. Let me show Mike the wire texture shaded preview quickly, or just the wire smooth shaded. That might be less distracting. Just wire shaded. There we go. That is what she looks like. Let me take her top off and her bottoms off. Yeah, so it's all just plain quads. Literally everywhere. So none of these things like belly buttons, nipples, and other, they're no longer part of the base geometry, which is really cool because that means you don't have to make a human out of this figure. Do you know what I mean? You can turn this into a truck or an animal or something, you know, that doesn't have a belly button or nipples to a certain extent. So that is really, really cool. Yeah, so that is what it looks like. Quads everywhere. Isn't that cool? It's just so different than previous figure generations. Oh, let me also take off her hair so you can see the head. Yeah, there we go. And then, so these things are the base geometry. That is what it is. It's about twice as dense as the as the Genesis 8 generation. Yes, and it becomes a fridge. Yes, exactly. Do you know, deceptively so, because sorry, let me just quickly die here. It looks that way because on things like eyes and teeth, those polygons were counted towards the base resolution. That is no longer the case. Now you're talking just the outside body, and the cool thing is when you subdivide that, you don't subdivide teeth and eyes and stuff like that, where a lot of polygons would otherwise be, and that would just bring the polygon count up. And now we don't have that anymore. So it's kind of cool. Deceptively so. Nancy, thank you so much for being here. Oh no, actually, sorry. LFA, I'm so sorry. Nancy's still here. LFA is going. Hello and goodbye. I didn't see you there. One of those things. Hey, let's put a second skin on. And hair, bikini, back to filament. And let's put a different skin on and then decide what looks best with that skin. How's that? Skin 2. Come on. That's skin 2. This here for the bikini now is top. Do we like top? Do we want to have something else? Actually, let me set up a second camera as well, so we have one that is more full body, just for later. And then I should also save my scene. Good point, isn't it? Camera like mid shot. So same light, same-ish perspective. And I can also turn around so that we have some renders of the base skin from the back. We're good with top, you think? Do you know the eyebrows are great, aren't they? We should do something about the eyebrows. I forgot about the eyebrows again. But did you see this when we don't have eyebrows? Roy made this fantastic suggestion on Twitter. He says we should have a way like Microsoft Clippy used to work. When you press render and there's no eyebrows in the scene, it should come up with a message that says, hey, you're trying to render out a figure without eyebrows. Are you sure you want to do that? We need to have eyebrows. That's just terrible. No eyebrows. So I think eyebrows, I don't know if they come with the figure. They come with Victoria. You'd imagine they're under the anatomy, but I don't think we have any yet. So I'm going to use the Victoria eyebrows that I have. Are there props here? No. No, so then they don't. In the beta version, there's no eyebrows, and they're still working on them. On Victoria, I have two types of eyebrows, and they're both beta. They're not sure which direction they want it to go in, so I'll use those. It's all still in the works. I think these look nice. These ones, I think they didn't quite fit. Yeah, they're not entirely... They don't lie flat on the figure, I don't think. I don't know if there's a way to... If they've added an adjustment in here. I can just bring them closer to the figure, I think. Well, with our trick again under MISC. Auto follow. Whoops, where are they? Gone. Where are the eyebrows, Jay? What did you do to the eyebrows? Okay, they're gone. I'll use the second one, the second pair that I have, because that fits the figure here. The eyebrows too. I'll use those. There, if we give it a second. There. Eyebrows. And I think they're ginger though, so let's see if we can make that, if we can change that. Yeah, I'll just make them a little darker. The brown's okay, I'll just make them a little darker. Because they work really well with Victoria, because she's got that that skin complexion. Okay, that should. The eyebrows are the best. You guys are so funny. Let's see if that works. Also, Jay, save your scene. Save your scene. Just because I know what it's like. Lilith 9. Pop that into DAZ scenes. Do you know, just on this note, I'm going to show you something in a second. That's kind of Lilith 9 v1. It's been something I've just accidentally picked up. That's something I wanted to Jay saves 1.5 hours in, yes. That should be a whole channel. Hey, did you know this? This is so I didn't know this. In the content library up here, right? And remind me to zoom out again, because I'm one of those guys who one of those things I just forget to zoom out. So this is important here. In the content library tab, we have these things here like DAZ Studio formats, and we've got poser formats here. But we also have other import formats, which I didn't know how cool that was to use. So this one here, you can map all your DAZ related libraries. Anything that includes DAZ type scenes will show up in this tab. We know that, right? Then down here, poser formats, the same with the poser things. But what these tabs do not show up is things like OBJs. But you can map those types of folders under other import formats, and this was kind of cool for me to know. So I have, like, the folder that I have here, like G something. This is something that that the Fugazi and I were making our outfits in. Like, I have an OBJs folder, and if I go there, DAZ Studio can indeed display OBJs in the library. So these, they don't have thumbnails right now, but if you'd save something with the same name and just .png at the end, then the thumbnail would show up, and you can bring in literally OBJs and FBXs and all these other formats without having to go to file import. You can literally just map them under other import formats, and then you just double click them and bring them in that way. Isn't that cool? So if you had something from other marketplaces and you only had a bunch of OBJs and you want to bring those in, you can literally just treat them like you would. So you can double click them to bring them into the center, or you alt left click and drag them to put them into a position wherever you need them to be. So very cool. And then the import dialog comes up like it normally does, and then, you know, this is how that works. It's kind of cool, isn't it? I love that. So I thought that was kind of handy. I just didn't know that. I've also just ruined the camera placement here. Didn't want to do that either, but we can probably bring that back to where it needed to be. I think it was something like that, wasn't it? So yeah, you find new things in DAZ Studio all the time. Isn't that cool? There. I just thought I'd show you that, because I just thought that was really cool. Did we do this as a close-up? I think we did, didn't we? I can't remember now. I think we did. Before I ruined that camera placement there. We had this like that, and then we had the other one a little bit wider. Okay, let's go render this out. Or just look at the render here. I haven't saved this project either. I should do that too. While I'm in a saving mood, you know. Right, Ainsley, that is probably because the geometry is being rewritten. It's not the OBJ format, it's some of a different format, and it stores its stuff into a data folder then. kind of proprietary to DAZ. That's a good tip, and that is also a good tip for distribution. So if you've made something that you wanted to give to other people, then you do what Ainsley says. You do it as a save it as a support asset, and then you can distribute it. And then if you put that into a new folder, like a blank folder, and you save it into that, map that as a library, then save it into that, then you can go and zip up that whole folder, and then whoops, and then share that with other people. So I think this was our framing, kind of like that. Okay. Now we'll render her with eyebrows. It's a saving mood type of day. I totally agree, yes. Too funny. Let's see what the eyebrows look like. The Victoria 9 beta eyebrows on our brand new figure Lilith 9. Yeah, version 1, so, you know, mouth to be fixed. Yeah, I think that color looks a little better on her, rather than the ginger color. Oh, I did, she's not high res. I can totally see she's not high res. I still have her on base res. Let's fix that. She's not high res. Sorry, Lilith. You're still SD, like base res Lilith. Say that 3 times fast. Base res Lilith. Base res Lilith. Base. No, high res there. Subdivision 3. And then hair, was that high res? That's just base res. That's cool. Eyebrows, they are also just base res, right? Yeah. Sometimes hair can benefit from subdividing, but I think Voss looks quite nice just at base res already. So, and it's more about the skin anyway. So this is the skin number 2 here, the base skin number 2, and I want to do this with the male people as well. I have some just with the regular base male morph that I haven't uploaded yet, but I've rendered them. Like most of them are done. I just want to make them slightly larger and also get the backside. Habib, how you doing? Oh, the gray background turned purple. So it could be that. So my background is currently kind of a dark brown here. It could be that you've accidentally done something on the environments tab. I'll show you where that is. I'm having second thoughts about the Voss hair being not subdivided. I'm just, you know, now when I see edges like these, I'm thinking maybe subdivision on Voss hair might be even cooler. Let's do that while we show Habib why where that little tick box is. Nate, sometimes I have a feeling you pick these things out. You have selective hearing, I think. Let's go put subdivision on Voss. Edit object geometry, convert to sub D. There. Cool. So I have this tab here, environment, and you see if you have it and see if this is set to purple, because that would explain why things are why things appear purple. If it is a different background, like in texture shaded, like this here, if it's like that, then it's the if it's the environment tab. And the easiest way to do this is to just switch this to a color that you want to see, like a darkish type gray, or in my case it's kind of a really dark gray with a little bit of color mixed in. But if it's something else, that might be a serious graphic issue. So I don't know, possible. You do that, right? Yes, or that is also possible. Yes, Ascania, good point. It could well be that you've loaded in a prop. That's also possible. It's difficult to say without seeing it like visually. Oh, darkness. I don't know much about it. I just have a theory I'm happy to share with you. So darkness is talking about the tab in the render settings that that goes on about texture compression. I think, and do correct me if I'm wrong, Mike might know more about this. It's how the textures are treated on their way to the GPU. So to speed up the loading times, you wouldn't load like if you on a JPEG. Imagine a JPEG that is like a 4K JPEG that in Photoshop shows you it uses 24 megabytes, for example. But when you look at it on the hard drive, it's only like 300 kilobytes. So it's that type of compression that gets applied when the texture is sent to the GPU, I think. And you have an influence over what types of textures are being resized, I think. Don't quote me on this, it might be wrong, but it speeds up basically the data going into the GPU. Otherwise you'd have to wait like 20 times longer. If you compress the texture and then expand it again in the GPU, then the transfer process happens a bit faster. Okay, so that means, Mike, in your case, that means anything under 8K isn't going to be resized, is that right? So they don't compress, right? Okay, right. So cool, that's good to know. That's good to know. So you can get some more detail out of that, but be aware that loading times are a little bit longer that way. Marginally so. I don't think there's really much more work involved. I think it's purely, they do this purely about the transfer process, because in order to render the texture, it has to be expanded again anyway. So this is just the time it takes for you to click render. And then there's like the 20-second pause or 1 minute pause before the render actually starts. That's the transfer process of all the data going through your bus into the GPU, and then the render can start. And if you can speed that up, then that's where the compression is helpful. If you just compress textures on the way into the GPU, but it hasn't. So because it's an extra compression process, you may end up with better results if that weren't there. If you just send the uncompressed texture to the GPU. So inside the GPU, it takes literally no time to expand it again. It's just that's all it is. Sure, no worries, man. Right, oh, Ainsley, good point. Yes, let me do that. Let's go do this render, and then I'll go and show you the asymmetry morphs, because I found them. That is something I hadn't quite, I just didn't know where they were, but of course you search and then you find them. So they're kind of cool. There's a handful of them, and they let you, it's essentially like a face shaping tool that lets you turn the shape into a bit more of a heart, but more on one side than the other. So it's almost like something that I keep seeing Brian use on Character Creator. Yes, let's do that. Let's put asymmetry into Lilith's face. Oops. And also, let's put the next skin texture on her. Then we have this. We need to re-render that with eyebrows. And now we have this here. Okay. That'll also work with the same hair color. Asymmetry morph. So the easiest way I thought to find them was literally on your Genesis figure. You look for asymmetry, and then you have all these things. And I think hidden, ignore that. That's not something we need to worry about. So actor, then there's head, and then there's ears and face. So there's a ton of them in here, and like under base, let's start with base, because there's a few others under brows and all that. But just to show you the basics. So the way this works, like asymmetry face, heart left and heart right. So if you go do that, and it's very subtle, but you see that part of the head here changes on that side. If you dial both up, then you have a symmetric heart shape going in there. But you can do it, more or less on either side. So that's heart. And that's just the base for the face. Then there's face round. So that kind of heart bulges out at the top a base here, and then you have square that does that on the bottom. And the idea is that if you use both of them together, you have like a full morph. But the idea here is that you can do one side a little less than the other. So that's the principle, and I thought that's quite nice. That's as an approach. And square is that this is basically the bulge out on the bottom. It's a little bit like the things we have in the meta mixer, but this is for base. So now you have the same stuff over brows, brow height on the left. So you can change the brow height on the left and right independently, but all the expressions and all the other sliders will stay in place. So if that is what your figure looks like, if she raises one eyebrow, it'll always be, you know, offset against one another. Brow size also. So very granular what you can do there. This I think is better to be seen from the kind of from the side here. It's that bulge going out here, but only on one side, and then for the other side you have a different slider. Hours of fun, I'm telling you. So these, I think these will probably, I don't know if they're going to be in the base pack or if they're going to be in the characters essentials pack. The cheeks, same thing. Asymmetric jaw balance, because, you know, and subtlety really is the key here. It's nice, isn't it? Cheek size right and left independently. And then we have the eyes, also very cool. Crease height, left and right. That's this bit here at the very this here. Very nice. I love it when the Wii first came out. Lower, relax, left. Very granular control you have there. And if you needed more, then remember you can always switch off the limits here. Don't use limits or put different limits in. And then, you know, don't be surprised if you have like monster eyes. So yeah, if you ever needed more or less, you can just go and override the limits. I'll go put it back in place just in case here. I love it when the Wii came out and you had the option to create your own Mii, and there were only very few features that you can change, like 12 different noses and 3 different eye types, but then also the eye height and the nose height and the mouth height in the face, and it's quite impressive how much those basic features really shape a face. Brian knows about this because he makes his own characters in Character Creator, and they've had these types of adjustments for a while. It's really cool to see this in Genesis now implemented. Oh yeah, this is nice here. This is the asymmetry eyes angle, so you can turn the eyes. And those types of things, it's unbelievable what that makes as a difference for the personality position. This is like the in-out, like the depth. Insane, isn't it? That's for the right. Then we have the position. So that's the thing I meant about the Wii. These things are kind of interesting. And how much of a change that makes. And yeah, again, you can, if you needed more, if you wanted to really go to extremes, you can either untick the limits box or set yourself different limits. So maybe like instead of 100, maybe you want to try 500. And then that eye can go much further up. So if you needed it. And asymmetric, so independent of one another. And it's just these small, subtle changes that make humans, isn't it? What else? Eye position height right. Oh, that's that. Eye position width. So it's almost like you don't necessarily need to take a character into ZBrush anymore. You have so much control inside DAZ Studio that you can go and and do that. There's another change actually for PAs. That's interesting. This wasn't previously available, but from now, if you're a DAZ PA, you can use these things as merchant resources if you purchase that pack on the store. So you can make fine adjustments here and say you've worked for days and you have adjusted 200 different sliders. You can export that out as an OBJ, import that back in, and then sell that as a character if you have these products. So that's the kind that if you have these merchant resource products, so that is allowed if you're DAZ PA. So which is cool, which is really nice. It's all the more reason to become a DAZ PA if you're interested in this sort of thing. My God, there's so many others here. I've just filtered it by asymmetric, didn't I? So these are all the ones that are not related to asymmetry. Let me go filter that out again. There's mouth as well. Just wanted to show you the mouth thing. Mouth angle. Also asymmetric. Mid curve. Phenomenal. And then we have lower lip thickness. So if I didn't want to go back into R3DS Wrap and fix my mouth, I can maybe even do it with these sliders here. Sweet. Yes, asymmetry sliders. And then there is nose. There's just a ton of them here. Yeah. And this, I think, is like a left-right type slider. Yeah, that's the one. Exactly. Nico, that's the ones. Exactly. Right. You use ZBrush for that? Okay, cool. What else? Oh yeah, that's the nose tip. Left and right. So yeah, that's the asymmetry ones, I think. Size, you can blow the nose up on one side. Very cool. Very cool. Let's go render her out hopefully with all this asymmetry disabled. Yes, I think I've got everything disabled. I think I reset everything to 0 and render her out. Walking from Sweden to Berlin. That is a great idea, Camilla. That's gonna make you fit. How long do you think that's gonna take? Just out of curiosity. Let me see if I can find the makeup editor, because I don't even know where it is. So maybe we can find it together. Let's see if we can do that. You know, for me too, actually, Camilla, it's crazy. Since we've lived in Florida, I think we've lived here, and we've not been back to Europe ever since 2012. We've traveled inside here in the US, but we haven't actually been back to Europe. Much to the disappointment of my mother, of course, because she wants to see us. And yeah, I think if once COVID just calms down a little bit more, I think we'll do that. But I've never been to Sweden, so I'd love to, you know, once we're on the European tour, be kind of good to do that. Take Sweden in as well, and Finland. I'd like to see Finland, as well as Denmark, actually, and Norway. See Anders Enger Jensen while I'm there. Sweden isn't that far. No, you're right. If you're walking, though. So cool. Horizon, where are you from? Antonio, you're from Berlin, is that right? Same here, Ainsley. I didn't know that either until I've looked at it and I'm thinking, oh my god, there's just so many. Danny, how you doing? Oh, you're in Germany. Horizon, guten Morgen. Guten Nachmittag. Das sagen wir gar nicht, ne? Guten Nachmittag, sowas gibt es gar nicht in Deutschland. Very cool. Good afternoon, something that we have in the UK. Besten Dank. Vielen Dank fürs Reinschauen. Yes, so many asymmetry morphs. I think, of course, the eyebrows here, they don't really work on with her skin tone, so they should be darker. But at least she has eyebrows. So, so sagt man's, genau. Du bist auch aus Deutschland, Grofili. How exciting! That is so cool. Askania is also from Germany. I didn't know that. I thought you were from the UK. Maybe I'm mixing you up with somebody else with the A at the top there. Did you guys know that I have Currywurst Pommes? Kommt was drauf? Currywurst Pommes Rot-Weiß. That was always my favorite dish when I was living in Hamburg at the Spielbudenplatz. That is very cool. We should do a stream in German one day. Very cool. Gruß aus dem schönen Frankenland. Wie schön. Das ist ja klasse. So, in Deutschland habe ich ich komme aus Bremen, ich bin gebürtiger Bremer und wir sind dann nach Verden an der Aller gezogen, meine Mutter und ich, nachdem sich meine Eltern gesplittet haben. Und dann bin ich in Verden zur Schule gegangen. Bin dann alleine nach Berlin gezogen für 3 Jahre, nach Neukölln in den Südteil der westlichen Stadt. Das war 2 Jahre, nachdem die Mauer gefallen war. War eine tierische Atmosphäre damals in Berlin auch, so gerade nach dem Umbruch. Und ich habe in einer Firma gearbeitet, die hieß damals Geier Berlin. Das war eine Firma, die hat Filmnegative entwickelt und Kopien gemacht für sowas wie Jurassic Park und für die deutsche Distribution. Und da habe ich eine Lehre gemacht als Film- und Video-Engineer. Und dann bin ich nach Hamburg gezogen für 5 Jahre. Und nach Hamburg bin ich dann, das war eine Firma in Studio Hamburg. Und danach bin ich nach London gezogen. Von 99 bis 2012 und dann bin ich nach Amerika gezogen, nach Florida. Unglaublich! Unglaublich! Yes, so many German people here. If you didn't know this, I have a German channel actually, and I've started making some tutorials in German. Brian, if you find that link, do dig it out. I don't think I have a shortcut for that. And now in the USA, so I've traveled quite a bit. I was just saying, for those of you who don't speak German, I've just given a little wrap of where I've moved to in Germany and how I ended up in the US. But you know that story, so I'm not going to tell you again. It's cool. It's cool. Yes, but it's really nice to see so many people from Germany watching. And there's also there is a localization in the works for the new DAZ Studio. From what I hear, that is something that they want to put in, which is partly why it takes so long, that they want to have localized versions of DAZ Studio. Thank you. The channel's name is called Bei Köln Rechts, which is a terrible name, but I had to call it something. So I might actually call it something else at one point. Is the mouth glowing? I don't think so. I don't think the mouth is glowing. This is just a reflection here from Jay's killer lights, I think. Let's go render something else. Let's go render the last one. And I can do the full body ones on my own. That's cool. I can do that and then post them here. Just this one here. I think the eyebrows might work with that skin tone. I think for the dark skin tone, I would probably correct them. But so nice that we can do this, and we've thrown this together in literally only 2 hours, which is kind of which is not bad, I have to say. So let's do this again. The wrapping, not today, but let's do it again in principle, and then make sure both figures open their mouth. And come to think of it, when I did this with Mrs. Chow, when I tried to convert Mrs. Chow, I did that as well, and I forgot this morning. So one of those things. Could do tactics. I could do that. Just WP Guru DE. That might actually fit better. Shall I do that? That might be better. Excellent. Thank you so much. I didn't know you guys, so many of you were from Germany. I had no idea. That is really, really cool. Yeah, so I've started, whenever I make tutorials, it's often relatively easy once you've rehearsed it and once you've got the setup there. It's relatively easy then to just re-record it in German. But what I have real trouble with is the technical language that I've only ever learned in English, that I really have no idea what it's called. Like subdivision, is there a German word for that? Asymmetry morphs, asymmetrische morphs, maybe. So I'm gonna have to really think and make it up. So they're often a little bit slower. So one of those things. Yes, crazy, isn't it, Antonio? It's one of those things. It's And another funny story I'll tell you is that when I learned English, I learned that from pretty much like Camilla and many other Europeans. We learn this by watching American television, and because there's so much more American television and American movies out there than British ones. Or it's easier to get a hold of these things, we usually pick up an American accent. And that is, of course, what happened to me as well. So I spoke totally American when I moved to London in '99. So everyone in London, in the post-production company that I worked for, which is Todd AO, opposite, that's in Camden in London. It's very central by the Camden Lock, by the Camden Markets, very nice place. And it's right opposite the MTV studios, which I then also subsequently started working for later. It's kind of cool. So they all thought I was from America. And they thought, what's an American guy doing here? I mean, this is awesome to have you and your expertise. And I said, I'm not actually from America. And they were all really surprised to hear that. So when I moved there, I was completely American. And then as I lived there, my accent has completely changed into British. And that is not something that I consciously did. So it just kind of happened. Weird stuff. Right, so Sebastian, that is I think the saving grace that the Denglish is something that most Germans understand. So that if I throw in English words into my Denglish, then you guys will get it anyway. So that's kind of cool. Hectics, same here. This is also where I picked up a lot of my English in my younger years, when I played English text adventures like the Infocom things and the Magnetic Scrolls. There were no German versions of that out there, so you kind of had to learn English. Good point. Right. Do you know, I think in Germany we have that, we start at a really early age as well. I think ours is grade 5. That's when I used to start it. Grade 3, that is cool. Look at that. How about Finnish in Sweden? Do you learn Finnish as well? Because I know the Finns learn Swedish. Is that like mutual, or is it just that the Finns learn Swedish as a second language? Denglish. I remember my granddad was really unhappy when he would read a newspaper and the headline would be like, 7 words, 5 of them would be some Americanized version that no one would understand if you didn't know what it was. So it's crazy stuff. And it totally works, doesn't it? Oh, you do learn Finnish. Cool. But the Finns learn Swedish. Interesting, isn't it? I remember my friend's wife, she's from Finland, he's from Germany, and she has a brother, and that's just them. They're like brother and a sister, and the parents taught them the languages that you speak Swedish to mom, but you speak Finnish to dad. And ever since they grew up, and they still do that, and it's just kind of instinctive. And that was really confusing to my friend when he started visiting them, and he goes, that wasn't the same language that you just spoke to. That's weird. And it's kind of cool. So to teach your kids that way. I just want to re-render the first one with the eyebrows here, because that's just, no eyebrows. It's just uncool. How funny. So yes, I'll go and rename by Köln Rechts to WP Guru DE. Let's do that. I think if anything's come out of this stream, aside from Lilith 9 beta version, that is what we're going to do. In fact, let me just go and put a little poll out. I wish my mods could do that, but that is not something that YouTube allows. Did you see there's a little icon change on YouTube in the chat at the bottom between the smiley face and next to the smiley face, there's now this little awards icon, and that used to be a little cash icon. That's now the awards icon. I know, bad YouTube, right? So shall I rename, shall Jay rename his German channel? Thank you, Nate. Very good. Yes. Call it WP Guru DE, something like that. Or no, leave it as by, how you type an O umlaut on this keyboard. There we go. There. I'll let you make the final decision. It's always good to do these polls. No, I think you were a member, but once a month, if you are a channel member here, once a month you get to use this little thing as if you've made a donation. So like you get a free super chat a month. I think that is what that's what I'd like to. That's what I want to say. California, I've never been. It must be quite exciting. Like California, not so much LA. Like often people associate California with LA, but of course that's two totally different things. Like Nevada and Las Vegas. Lost wages. See, that's it exactly, Brian. Thank you for sponsoring. I like that. I like that. And it's of course not a sponsoring at all. It's your free super chat. No rechts. You're right, Antonio. Oh my God, that's like politically super incorrect and stuff. Certainly 95% of people are totally in favor of me renaming that channel. I will totally do that. And the thing is also, it's interesting to do it now because I've just passed 100 subscribers, and I don't know if you know this, but YouTube gives you some benefits depending on the number of people that subscribed on your channel. And 100 is a big milestone because it means you get to pick a vanity URL for the channel. And if you lock that in, I think that's going to be kind of locked in. You can change it, but you can then give out something like youtube.com/ something like, in my case, WPGuruDE. So or something else. I'm glad 20 people believe I should 19 people believe I should rename it. That's good. It's good to know. Back to vacuuming. You know, I think I'm going to call it a day as well. I'm going to go and upload these together with the full body shots. Let me just go and render, just see how they come out. And also let me ask you, what do you prefer? If I were to have a mid shot like this, or do you prefer to have the full body shot that goes somewhat, bear with us, caller, object denote the duplicate like so, and we'll say this one is then the full body, or do you prefer her to be full body with the feet and stuff? Do let me know. So that'll be like literally just like this. I'm easy either way, but let me know which version you prefer. Do you prefer the full body version, or do you prefer the kind of mid shot version to evaluate the skin detail? Because this will show you the feet, of course. This will not, and you're just going to have to trust that the feet look okay. Habib, the contest, I just didn't have the chance to I have one bit of news on my contest. Let's do that. Let's do that while you tell me about your preference for full body shot. Mid shot, Seb says mid shot. Good to know. I have some news on this is the past render challenge that's just closed here, that I can show you these amazing community submissions here with credits at the bottom. This is what people have submitted to the render challenge, and I encourage you to have a look through this because it's highly inspiring. The theme was rain, and this is what people have come up with and submitted that very kindly. And there is an anonymous sponsor in our team here that has decided they want to give away $10 and pick a picture from the selection, give the participant, the winning person, those $10. I said I'm going to pick a different winner and I'm going to give away a video game. And the anonymous sponsor has picked their favorite, and I will reveal who that is in a second. And I have picked something that I find great, but I might just pick another one because there's just so many good submissions in here. So I can maybe reveal that the anonymous sponsor has decided to give away $10 to Mr. Matt Castle for this submission. And this is one winner of the rain contest. So congrats, Matt. Very exciting stuff. And I think the comments were, and this is why it's important for them. They wanted to remain anonymous. They said, so I had like my 3 top choices, but this one convinced me because her pose and her body language really spells out I'm genuinely freezing and wet and cold, and so that is just what we associate with rain. So this is one winner. I have yet to pick my winner. I also have like a group of 3 that I really like, and I will announce that very soon. And my winner is going to be able to, my winners, if I'm, there may be more, they will be able to pick a video game from a list that I have yet to write, because I have like 20 or 30 Steam codes that I can give away, and that I would like you guys to, you know, just to have a little something for participating. So that will be announced probably this week. I'll make a little video and put that on my YouTube channel. But the next challenge, which I haven't written a post for yet because I was really busy, is going to be the October render challenge that you're more than welcome to just put thoughts on paper to for now. That is, the theme of that is fluffy. So think about fluffy. Could be kittens, or could be clouds in the sky, or could be things you take to bed, or could be fluffy jumpers, and anything fluffy goes. And once again, it's totally fine to have 3D submissions, 2D submissions. You can submit animations if you like, but like flat images would work best because I can show them as part of the slideshow there. You can submit not safe for work stuff, but I won't be able to show that in the slideshow. Instead, what I'll do is I'll just put them down here. I had a couple of NSFW submissions, and they'll just appear down here so that, you know, the kids don't get scared and all that. So yes, fluffy is the October render challenge. Please submit your best work, because that is just so cool. Fluffy, indeed. I'm going to write a post about that and let you have that. Did we make a decision what we wanted to do? Applause, indeed. Yes, absolutely. Applause for Mr. Matt. Woohoo! Applause for Mr. Matt. And did we make a decision on the mid shot? Nate says full body. Seb says Dusty one. Thank you for subscribing. Appreciate that. So maybe we should make another poll then, because we couldn't quite decide. So first of all, I'm going to rename my channel to wpguru.de or de, something like that. I will do that. Let's make another poll and say, how shall Jay render the full body version? Mid shot or full body shot? Do let me know, because, you know, I'll do what you tell me. Fluffy boobas. I like it. I like it. Let's see what this looks like. If I go and just render this, we can just have a comparison while we talk about it. Oh, Nate. Yes. Oh, Nate, indeed. That would probably be classed as a not safe for work shot, I'm thinking. So I have some of these renders with a basic male figure. I should have adjusted this. I didn't do that. It's you know, it's all right. It's just for the skin detail. And since the wide shot renders a little quicker, I might do it with more iterations too. Don't know yet. Check this out. This is just the auto fit of this Genesis 9 item. So obviously the clothing creator has not seen my Lilith morph because it's only 2 hours old. So it fits very well. This is just the regular morph that DAZ Studio made up. Yesterday, if you haven't seen it, there was a DAZ Plus stream that I did with the Fugazi, in which we talked about how to create a clothing item and then go and make that fit on the new Genesis figure. If you're interested in that, have a look at the DAZ Plus forums. There is a pinned thread that has a link to yesterday's stream on there. You're very welcome, Antonio. You're very welcome. 65% say we should go for the mid shot for this one here. I have to say, I like that better as well. That is my personal preference, just because you can see a little bit more of the skin. Did I dial in the belly button? I think I haven't. I shall do that forthwith. Let me do that. Let me see if I think there's a belly button morph in there actually. I don't recall. Gotta be brutally honest. See if we can find it. I think over the next few weeks, we're just going to delve so much deeper into the figure and see what we can uncover. And many of these things may change before the final release, of course. Nose bulge. Is this dialed in? I can't tell. Can you? Oh, it's probably, is it called, maybe not belly button, it's called navel. Isn't it? Navel, there we go. Navel depth HD. Navel hollow. Navel out. My goodness. Okay, so navel depth HD. There's navel HD. Right. There's navel hollow HD. It's different types of belly buttons. Insane. Navel horizontal HD. Oh yes. My God. That probably works in conjunction with that navel. Is that how that works? Whoa. Navel out HD. Of course, we could have an outie and an innie. Navel size. We can have larger or smaller belly buttons, of course. That is insane. I had no idea. Navel vertical HD. Wow. That's crazy. Let's try that. Let's try vertical and then definitely navel HD. Maybe not quite so much. Maybe just like 70%. Navel hollow. This is crazy. You could really go to town with this. Navel depth. Do we need a deeper navel? Yes, maybe. Phenomenal. So we would see this all better. Genitals do come with the figure though. There are genitals attached. Sadly, I can't show you that. Also, I haven't looked at them yet. I've seen that they're available. So let's see what that looks like. Yes, absolutely super cool figure to play with. So it looks like after 24 votes then we have 67% of people say we want the mid shot, 30% of people say we want the full body shot. Well, let me just go and do one of the full body and all the skin tones then in this version. Wow, that is quite the navel now. Is that a bit too deep? It is, isn't it? Is that navel good? Too deep? It is a bit too deep, isn't it? Yeah, come on, Sepp, let's just make it less deep. Navel depth slider. It's that typical phenomenon, isn't it? You have 7 sliders and you crank all of them up and you go, why does this not look good? It's because you went over the top. As filament, it looked kind of okay, but then in IRA it looked too deep. So let's go navel depth. Let's bring that back to just 0. And then we have navel HD. Yeah, let's use navel HD there. And then hollow, that's the other one. Hollow is good. I like hollow. Let's do hollow 50%. And then vertical, that was this. That goes with the... Oh, there's other things that we can do. So if we do this, if we wanted to have Lilith having worked out a little bit, that's also possible. So I think that's under the full body base morphs. There's like fitness. We can tone her body. And since these are all HD morphs, this is kind of overlaid on what I have now. We can make her more live. Yuck. Or heavier. Fat Lilith, I like it. Muscular. We can give her some muscle tone. And less muscle mass, so you can adjust these things independently from one another. Let's try that at 20. This gives that a little bit of muscle tone there. Oh, there's also body tone there. Forget muscular. Let's do body tone. What is that? That tones the body. Okay, good. Body tone. So maybe then we'll take fitness out again. And just go body tone. Let's get that little bit of additional detail in. I like it. Even though that's not quite the morph that we've made with R3DS Wrap, but it's easy to add then. 30, a little bit of 30 muscle tone. Okay, let's see what that belly button now looks like, huh? It needs belly button lint. Brian, that's your next product on the DAZ store. Belly button lint. That would be a great idea to make as one of those New Year's products, like, you know, when we have the banana suit and the chair poses and the cube. That would be great. Let's make belly button lint. That is so cool. Wow. That is still deep, but that looks more natural. Very nice. Yeah, so I'm gonna make some renders of just the base female figure and some of these just some of these morphs that come with it, and share them with you, either with or without the Victoria skin. I think it's really worth checking out the base skins that are in here. And I will make this light set available as well, that you can download this from my Ko-fi store if you like. It's a really simple setup with 4 spotlights and a light helper that you can adjust in the middle. I'm going to go and put all these things on my ArtStation page when they're done. Guys, thank you so much for the 50,000 poly HD belly button. That's a great idea. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you all coming out on a Sunday morning / afternoon. It's been a pleasure and a privilege to be with you. I'll be back with something along the 3D lines or the Subnautica lines on Twitch in the afternoons this week. I will also announce the winner that I'm going to pick of the September challenge. I'm going to make that list of games available that you guys, the winners, will be able to choose from. Thank you so much for being here. I will hopefully see you very, very soon. Take care, my friends. All the best. Bye-bye.